And a good Monday morning, May 30th, 2022, Memorial Day, the day that we honor those who died to give us the freedom that we celebrate here in the United States of America. We welcome you into the Pierce Sports Center here in San Bernardino, California. This is our final day of our third event of the 2022 regular season. Ira Thor, Nick England, Matt Prosser with you alongside Noah Chassa will join us shortly as we bring you the NVA pregame show. 4 more matches on tap today, starting with an intriguing 9 a.m. matchup where one of these teams is going to hopefully whittle their way back into the playoffs. The other, well, depending on the outcome of this match and how other teams play this weekend, are going to have a huge hill to climb to try to make the playoffs in the final 2 events of this season. We start with that one, the Untouchables and Southern Exposure. Chicago yesterday finally got on the board. They're taking on a Seattle squad that is still finding itself. Chicago, for the first time this year, did not have to go 5 to be competitive. They dominated that match. Southern Exposure, on the other hand, was on the wrong side of a historical effort as Felix Chapman for the Dallas Tornadoes single-handedly put up probably the most remarkable effort any of us have ever seen. So we'll start with that one. Matt, what do you see as the Untouchables coming in at 1-4 in the National Coastal? Southern Exposure comes in also 1-4 in the American Central.
Well, I think you hit the nail right on the head, Ira. A very intriguing matchup as these two teams did play yesterday evening. Southern Exposure going the full distance, 15-13 in that match that you just touched on. About a 2.5-hour match, so a very quick turnaround for them. Very curious to see how they respond to that physically and the mental challenge that that'll bring along as well. The Untouchables had a 3-game sweep, right, against the Sasquatch, but they played in that last match of the day, so even shorter turnaround for them. But with that shorter length of match, it should be a very interesting dynamic to see how these two teams navigate that in today's morning match and how fast they can get activated out of the gate.
Yeah, that's a very good point by you. Not the friendliest of schedules, particularly for Chicago, as they got off the court last night at about 7:30 p.m. And, depending on how early you wake up in the morning, could be less than a 12-hour turnaround. Again, the Untouchables 1-4 out of the National Central, and Southern Exposure is 1-4 out of the American Coastal Division here in the NVA. I would say that Southern Exposure still probably has a better path to the playoffs of those two teams based on how the wild card situation currently stands after nearly 3 events in the books. Move on to our 12 p.m. matchup. This is the Seattle Sasquatch against the Dallas Tornadoes. Seattle now 0-5, still looking for their first win as an expansion organization out of the National Central. Dallas Tornadoes yesterday 15-13 as they are now 3-2 in the American Central, and this right here is a little bit of history. This is a box score. I kept every set so I could admire this for years to come as Felix Chapman, 36 kills on 75 swings. We saw some history yesterday, Nick. Now the question to me is how much duct tape is in the building? Is Felix Chapman's arm still going to work?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you look at a guy like Felix Chapman, he's ready to bear that load. He knew coming in what was expected of him. The entire lineup was designed around getting him activated. Everyone knew that was the game plan. I think that they're going to have less of an uphill battle today in front of them with the Seattle Sasquatch team. I expect to see the exact same approach. But we saw a lot of contributions from guys on that squad that I think today are going to have less of a difficult time getting involved. Chike Oporum, and just a variety. Even Sam Schuldenberg on the outside was swinging pretty well as a libero playing that 0-2 spot. So I think there's quite an advantage here on the side of the Tornadoes, and we're going to see more or less what we saw yesterday, but with a little bit less of an emphasis on the backpack carrying of Felix Chapman.
Yeah.
I highly doubt he'll need 36 more kills today, but he has worked his way back now. He's the points leader in the NVA, but credit to Sam Schuldenberg, who was at 0-2 yesterday and had a good effort, 5 kills, hit above 40% in his first action as an attacking player. So very intriguing to see who else gets involved for Dallas, but they have themselves an opportunity to move to 4-2 if they are victorious today, which would be great as we move into the 4th event of the year for them. Third match of this day, and it is the Colorado Kraken, the more successful of the 2 expansion teams this year. They come in at 2-3 in the American Central against the Las Vegas Ramblers. They are 4-1. The Ramblers were able to overcome the LA Blaze in a battle of 3-1 teams on Friday. neither of these teams played yesterday. Both had byes. So, Matt, for you, we've seen the Ramblers add to what they have. Today they take on a Kraken team that you don't know what you're going to see each day, but they've been competitive, and it might be more of a test than we realized.
Well, the Kraken have gotten better as the season has progressed, right? And having that favorable schedule with the day off on Sunday this weekend is definitely going to help both of these squads. For the Ramblers, they have gotten a little bit deeper, adding some really key personnel, but really the big question mark was Brandon Rattray's performance on Saturday night, not quite up to his standards or the standards of the Ramblers. So fortunately for that group, though, they have a pretty deep roster, and they had some guys kind of pick up some of that slack. So I expect to see the Ramblers come out of the gates really fast today and play a little bit more of what is expected from all of them. And it should be a very entertaining match, but I do think the Ramblers just have too many weapons to take on the Kraken.
And that brings us to our final match today. This will be our 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And to me, this is the match of the day as the Battle of Southern California, as the LA Blaze. They are 3-2 out of the National Central, and the defending champion OC Stunners starting to really now turn that direction to the team that we expect to see. They were dominant in their last effort. They are 3-2 out of the National Coastal. Again, last match of the day, it's one of those things where, yeah, it's a culmination of a long weekend. Is there a letdown with these teams?
This is the fight for the 405. Like, this is as good as it gets. The Orange County team against the LA team. They train against each other pretty regularly. They're very experienced when they're not playing NVA-related stuff. It's guys that have been playing with and against each other for the better part of a decade. So there's not a lot of question marks about who can do what here. The big X factors I'm looking at on the side of the LA Blaze, Joseph Cuevas had one of the best matches I've ever seen, knowing that guy for the better part of 7 years. I've never seen him be that effective, slowing down Brandon Rattray, scoring points front row, back row. He was a force. Looking for that to get activated again today. Travis O'Gorman, another weapon that can really step up. The biggest, exclamation point of that team, though, Damani Lenore in the middle has been unstoppable.
He's a human highlight reel.
He really is.
Yeah.
So seeing him square off against the likes of Shane Beamer and Nick West, that's a matchup I'm dying to see. The two best blocking middles in the league against one of the most offensive middles. How does that unfold? I think kind of what we talked about, though, the veteranship. The amount of weapons that the OC Stunners bring in, I don't really question it. Regardless of the personnel they put on the court, I think they've got a bit of an upper hand, but I don't think this is an easy call by any stretch of the imagination. But I think Stunners relying on a little bit more of that veteranship. You see Joey Jarvis, Randy Ramirez, and of course Shane Beamer and Nick West. Those middles are ready to get that job done.
That middle game may be the match within the match, and it'll be an intriguing one to see. Well, we will now send it over to the sideline to the fourth member of our crew, Noah Chest. He'll tell you what's on top today, what stories he's going to be chasing, and storylines he finds intriguing. Noah?
Thank you, Ira. Good morning. Happy to be here on the last day of the campaign. A ton of interesting storylines today. That battle of SoCal to end the night will certainly be a fantastic matchup. I'm more focused on the one to start today. Exposure and the Untouchables. Two of the best one-win teams you'll probably see. I think both guys are desperate and really fighting to get in that second win column. So that to me is my match today. I'll check in with Felix Chapman, see how he's recovering after that historic night, and if he's ready to go and do it again. And I'll see if the Kraken have enough fight and scrapping them to take down the Las Vegas Ramblers. But for now, guys, let's hear those picks.
Thanks, Noah. All right, guys, it's time for the predictions part of our broadcast. 4 matches for us to go with, and I think the first one's the most difficult to pick as the Untouchables take on Southern Exposure. I don't trust either team enough here to be defiantly towards one, but I'm going to go with my gut here, and I don't see a Felix Chapman on the Untouchables, so I'm going to pick Southern Exposure as the team that's going to pull that early match out. Nick?
I've trusted Chicago a couple times this season, and it's led me to the bottom of our little stat, counting game. I'm going Exposure. They want blood.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon and also take Southern Exposure. On paper, they're the stronger team, and they should be playing with some fire after that 5-setter loss yesterday.
I'm actually shocked that we all agreed upon that one. I thought there would be some differing opinions. All right, 12 p.m. matchup, Seattle Sasquatch, Dallas Tornadoes. I know you're going with Seattle, Nick.
You caught me. No, that's going to be a Dallas Tornadoes clean win. I think, regardless of the personnel, they've got what it takes.
I will go with the same pick there. Tornadoes all the way in that one.
I'm not going to lose an easy one here to pick. The Dallas Tornadoes keep me in front of Nick England in the standings. We will move on to the Colorado Kraken and the Las Vegas Ramblers, Matt. The Ramblers, obviously the 4-1 squad in this match.
Yeah, the Ramblers roster just too deep. I think, like I said earlier, the Kraken starting to play a little bit better, but the Ramblers just too many weapons, so I'm going to take the Ramblers in that one.
Yeah, I actually have enjoyed watching Colorado play this year, but the Ramblers are just too deep, as Matt said. They're a championship contender, no way around that. Ramblers win today, they go to 5-1.
Yep, not backing out on my boys now. I think they're going to go to 5-1.
Last match of the day, I won't be here, Noah won't be here. You know, we got to hop on a jet plane and get the heck out of here. But we have a good one. This could go either way, too. You got the LA Blaze and the OC Stunners. You're the coach, you get to go first.
Well, some bragging rights here. The Battle of Southern California, like Nick mentioned. Should be a good, entertaining match, and Ira and Noah, too bad you guys are going to miss it, but I got to pull with my team and take the Stunners to win that one.
This is one that, quite frankly, I think could go 5, but at the end of the day, I still feel as if that middle matchup with West and Beamer is just too much for the Blaze to overcome. At least right now, they are a organization on the rise and certainly can be dangerous as the rest of this year unfolds, but today it'll be the OC Stunners.
Yeah, I don't think that there are the weapons. I think there's too much firepower for the Stunners. I'm taking the Stunners here as well.
Wait a second, did we agree on everything?
Yeah, we sure did.
Today.
So that means after event number 3, your boy here will remain in first place overall, and we'll have to have a nice graphic to paint the picture as we move into event 4, which will be Father's Day weekend. But it's Memorial Day 2022. We hope you have a chance to relax and celebrate all those who fought for our country by watching some great professional volleyball out here in San Bernardino. 4 matches on tap. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we welcome you courtside here at the Pierce Sports Center on a beautiful Memorial Day 2022, our first match of the day as Southern Exposure. We talked about yesterday a must-win this weekend. They didn't get it yesterday, losing in 5 on a historic day for the other guys.
Yeah.
They have to win this match because even though they're still very much alive, cannot go through 3 events at 1-5 on the year. Meanwhile, for Chicago Untouchables, you can probably say the same declaration for them as they come in. They got their first win of the year yesterday against an inexperienced Seattle Sasquatch squad. This would certainly do a lot for their confidence going forward. They can get out of the weekend 2-4 after beating last year's defending semifinalists.
Yeah, it's certainly the case. And before we get into too much action, we're going to throw it over to our guy on the sideline, Noah, with the coach of the Chicago Untouchables. Noah, take it away.
Oh, thanks, Nick. Chicago Untouchables coach Andrew Lee. And Andrew, you guys got a win. You're in the win column. How do you take that energy into this match?
With that win, it gave us a lot of confidence to just, backing up our passing, serve receive. We've been working a lot on serve and serve receive. So going back to the basics, it just builds up our confidence with that win. So.
And this is probably a bit more of a talented team than maybe the starter Seattle Sasquatch you played yesterday. How do you manage this team that's got a little bit of desperation to them at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, both of us, we are both playing very desperately for a late playoff push. I mean, it's just got to be who's hungrier. I mean, we just got to make sure the ball doesn't touch the ground, be a little bit more desperate to make those hustle plays, to keep the ball in play, just trust our defense, trust our blocking, trust our team to do something with the ball kind of thing. So.
We didn't see any of Danny Pereshkovov yesterday. Will we see him out there today?
Yes, definitely. Wanted to rest him yesterday. Kept him on standby yesterday just in case we needed him, but wanted him at full force for today.
Will your offense be as explosive as that shirt is right now?
I sure hope so. We've been working on kind of speeding up our offense a little bit, running more bigs, as you saw yesterday, but getting everyone a little bit more comfortable, trying to run a faster offense just to keep everyone, on their toes and everything.
Well, thank you, Coach. You're looking good. We look to see how good the Untouchables look in this very crucial matchup. Nick, Ira?
Noah, that might be the greatest question in the history of pregame shows. Is your offense going to be as explosive as your shirt?
Yeah, it's a fantastic shirt, fantastic line.
I mean, that's a confident shirt there from Coach Lee. And for the Untouchables, they have made some notable changes to the lineup from yesterday. Now, Austin Nee started yesterday on the right side. He's going to slide over the outside. He had an excellent match, very consistent yesterday for the Untouchables. Will Ragland, who was obviously their go-to offensive machine, will be in that outside spot as well. Another change that they're making today in the middle is Jacob Astema will be joined today by Kamil Garbowski rather than Zachar Pasha. I thought Pasha had a tremendous effort yesterday, Nick.
He certainly did. At the end of the day, it's one of those things, I think Zachar finds himself in the same position he might have been last year with the Tyrants when he was behind Lovett and Mountie on that squad. He's a fantastic middle. But you're looking at Garbowski as well as Ostema, and these are 2 just top-tier middles. And again, when we talk about the story of Southern Exposure, it's defined by their middles. Having Langston Payne, Tim Lurich, Uchenna Ofoha, Evan McDonough, that middle core is just absolutely lethal. So you've got to bring your big guns there.
What is going to be more important in your mind today out of Chicago from your middles? To be involved offensively, to keep the Southern Exposure middles off balance, or being more involved blocking-wise, because yesterday they really were not challenged?
Blocking defense is always going to be the answer for me there, because while I want to see offensive contributions, Danny Pereshkovov is one of the best right sides in the league. If you're able to get a lot of sets going his way, there's a massive size there, mismatch between whether you're seeing Eddie Mushikian or you're seeing Tyler Hubbard-Neal. It doesn't really matter which outside is selected, the core for the Southern Exposure. The size mismatch is something that I just think it cannot be understated how important Pereshkovov is going to be in this matchup.
Well, Pereshkovov, as you heard Noah say, will be in the lineup today. He will start there on the right side, number 99. Noah Ricchetti, who was our man of the match for the Untouchables in the win over Seattle, will start at center. Jordan Robinson will be the starting libero. Had a tremendous effort yesterday. And what's interesting You have Jordan Robinson at libero. He will be defending a brand new outside hitter for Southern Exposure that he knows well because Jordan is the head women's volleyball coach at New Jersey City University. Getting the nod today, his first appearance in the NVA, his first professional experience, John Andrews, who was the star of the men's team there, so they have had a ton of open gym time playing against each other over the years. So for Andrews' first professional appearance, he will be going against a coach, although it's for the other team at the school that he has known for a while now. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, Jordan knows all of his tendencies.
Yeah, master meets the disciple a bit.
And it's going to be a very interesting matchup. We'll tell you more about the Southern Exposure starting lineup. But first, we're going to send it over to our sideline, Noah Chess. Will talk to the always entertaining Tony Glessner with some insights on the match for Southern Exposure.
Thanks, Ira. Head coach Tony Glessner of the Southern Exposure. And Tony, I mean, just a hard, gut-wrenching loss yesterday. What do you tell your team this morning to get them ready for this new match?
I think we just have to go out and play our game and really play our game. Yesterday we let one person beat us, and we weren't focused on our team being able to come together and beat them. So I think we just have to go out and play to win today. Just we have to go out and play to win. That's it.
We're starting to hit that, that desperation window where playoffs become less and less likely with every loss. How do you, manage those expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I think we put ourselves in a position where we're putting the right people on the court. It's just now taking care of business when we're on the court. And yeah, it's every loss is another step closer to not qualifying. But I think our guys have the confidence and have been there. That last year, we were kind of in this situation in that third event of we needed to win too, and we had a very tough situation. So I think this will tell a big story about Southern Exposure for the rest of the season this year.
And this Chicago team, very similar to you. I mean, one win doesn't really tell the story for them. A lot of talented weapons. How do you slow down guys like Preshkovov and Ragland?
Yeah, I think we have to do a better job at slowing them down. Like yesterday, Chapman got the best of us when we tried to slow him down, and I think we have to just do a better job at when we get touches and we get digs, we have to reward our defense and get some better transition kills today. So I think we just slow them down. But yesterday we did a good job of slowing them down, but we didn't counter. So we're going to counter a little better today.
And no Chad Mercado. How big does that hurt you?
I think Chad is a big weapon for us, but I think we have another good oppo in Jan. Jan's got some firepower, and he's got some big hops, so we're excited to see what he's going to do on the opposite for us today.
Thank you, Coach, so much. Great to see that. We look forward to seeing how they turn out today. Nick and Ira.
Thanks, Noah. And let's take a look at the starting lineup, and then we're going to allow Nick to break this down because there is a lot to talk about with Southern Exposure. They are a team right now, I don't want to say turmoil yet, but if they do not win this match today, that is a word that we're going to have to start discussing because you cannot have a team with as pretty much all the talent back from last year's semifinalist run be 1-5 and not have motions running the gamut on that side.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's the case. So let's run through that starting lineup.
So I mentioned John Andrews will get to start today, his first professional appearance, and he's a youngster out of North Bergen, New Jersey, a 6'2" outside, plays pretty good defense, good server. He's going to get to start today over Tyler Hubbard-Neal, who will not see the starting lineup for the first time this year. Eddie Mishikian will be the other outside today, as Eddie at 5'11" gives them obviously a lot of heady experience in that outside position. On the right side today, getting the start will be Jan Sullivan, number 6. He saw some time yesterday coming in a reserve role in that double substitution spot. Talk about how Sullivan comes in and is able to kind of give them a different look.
Yeah, so yesterday, Chad Mercado was the starting right side after putting up roughly 18 kills, came down on his knee a little bit weird. Something didn't feel quite right, so while he was jumping okay, it was the landing that was giving him some issues. He got checked out in the afternoon, and they basically said you've got to take 1 to 2 weeks off and then rehab for another 2 to 3. He's already got prior commitments for event number 4, so he would not make it, but based on the assessment of our trainers here, he will not be healthy for that event all the same. He has already already confirmed he will in fact be ready, and he's determined to be good to go for Event 5, and hopefully, based on their performance here today, Event 6 if they qualify for playoffs. So we look back to Jan Sullivan, your first point. Event number 1 is where we first saw him in the absence of Chad Mercado. 21 kill effort when they took on the Las Vegas Ramblers and lost in that 5-set reverse sweep barn burner. So someone that is more than capable of carrying a heavy, heavy offensive load. So I have no lack of confidence that Sullivan coming in today is going to get it done. Another addition to the roster today is Sullivan. So that double sub that we saw yesterday coming in to replace Pelletier and Mercado, now we're seeing Derek Sullivan, who's been a leader on this team for a long time.
He was a big part of that run last year as well.
Yeah, very much so. Coming in at 6'5", a big setter, a big presence on the net. Head coach at Belmont Abbey. So there is on-the-court knowledge, there is on-the-court execution. So I love that they have the ability to have 2 high-level setters take their pick of the litter. So definitely look to see more middle involvement today. That was kind of my critique yesterday. Dallas Tornadoes a little bit weaker with their second middle, number 4 Vasquez, stepping in as an outside hitter at about 6 foot, 6'1". You've got Ochina Ofoha, a French league middle, and you're not running him. I don't understand that. And I think that today here, Derek Sullivan's not going to let that happen without a couple of opportunities. So expect to see Tim Lurich, Uchenna Ofoha getting involved very early, very offensively.
Well, Uchenna Ofoha will get the start today at middle as he came off the bench yesterday. The other starting middle, at least to begin the match, will be Evan McDonough, and he is a matchup nightmare at 6'9", very athletic. Not your big, take up the entire net type middle, but he's very athletic, he is long, and absolutely capable of hurting you on both sides of the game. So that is your starting lineup. Of course, Johnny Gomez, of course, the starting libero, as you would imagine. For Johnny, actually had for him a off match.
Yeah,
in that
I
loss
would agree.
against Dallas. I am used to seeing him play at a much higher level. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back, because you know, he is one of the best liberos in the NVA every time he's out there. So for him to have a misstep is rare.
It certainly is. And, we missed event number 2. It might be one of those things that he, was trying to find his way back in a little bit. I don't know what the training looks like for that team. I know it's usually about once a week that they all get together to the best of their abilities. But maybe there was a little bit of time off court, but I would expect Johnny Gomez to come out. But I think that we've got a heck of a match ahead of us here now. It's really which team comes out to play, but I could see this going to 5 sets right off the bat.
Well, we said in the pregame show, and I think most of us agreed our match of the day was the battle of the 405, the LA Blaze against the OC Stunners. If there's a match that could grab that one and shake and say, no, it's us, it's this match.
Yeah.
As the Untouchables and Southern Exposure throw out the records. They don't mean anything right now in terms of what you're going to see on the court. What it does matter is the loser of this match will fall to 1-5 and will be in some deep trouble. Oh, my God, we saw an embrace to start the match as a hug at midcourt between Mike Pelletier, the setter yesterday, the former Springfield College All-American, and Jordan Robinson, the libero for Chicago. But again, at the end of the day, somebody's going to be at 1-5. Somebody's playoff hopes are pretty much going to be down the toilet, barring a late 4-0 push through events 4 and 5, which could then change that conversation.
Yeah, this is really going to be one of those that I think whoever loses this one, you're going to see some very upset faces on that side of the court. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out Noah, our man on the sideline, runs some great post-game press conferences, a lot of great content there. So if you really want to know what some of the players are thinking, there's an opportunity to learn a little bit more. So you can check those out live, or they're not live, apologies, but they're uploaded to YouTube as well as our Instagram. As always, got to plug all the social media. There's a lot of TikTok action going on. We have a baseline cam going up right now, thanks to our man, Russ Holmes. Additionally, we've got an app on NVA USA. Always check us out at NVAUSA.com. But we're in the action.
We are underway. First attack for Chicago goes to Nice and nearly fell to the court. And Pereshkov able to slip that through.
A quick note there that while Evan McDonough was in the net, the the judgments here, I talked at length a bit with Pat Bradley, one of our lead officials. As long as you do not impact the play or gain advantage because of your net, a net will not be called. So while he was in the net, it was not impactful in any way, not called as a result.
And that's put to the floor by McDonough, and Chicago also into the net as well.
Unfortunately, that one does impact play, and that gets called. So very timely example there. Appreciate the players demonstrating that for you live. Now a 1-1 split.
He's Nick England. I'm Ira Thor. Noah Chast is the third member of the crew. We'll have some insights as this one moves on. As Gomez digs that one up out of the back row, it's Eddie Mishikian tooling the block.
We always talk about our outsides that have a bag of tricks, and Eddie Mushikian, an avid beach player, grass player, he's even played some snow volleyball. This guy, there is no surface he won't play on.
Snow volleyball.
Yeah, it was introduced on the FIVB circuit about 4 years ago, and there's been some opportunities for guys to play. And so,
how do I get in on this snow volleyball action? I want to try that.
I couldn't
I
tell
got
you.
moved to Colorado, as that is buried by Estema.
Ostema just graduated this past year from Trinity Christian College, part of the NAIA Chicagoland. One of the TCC Trolls teammate Ben Gabor is on the Inland Empire Matadors. So one of the young new faces in the league getting added in, coming in at a stark 6'9" with a massive vertical to boot.
So here is Estema to serve for Chicago. Yesterday the Untouchables all over the Sasquatch, 25-19. 25-12 and 25-17. First touch there for John Andrews, and then swinging away is Sullivan. Here's Ragland with the stutter step. Reach out and stuff someone. No, they're saying that they hit the net. Wow, I didn't think that had a chance to come back. So, well, I got a little excited for no reason there, Nick.
Yeah,
I thought Ragland got shut down, and no, he gets the point and goes over to Estema.
Hey, there it is. No disagreements on the side of Exposure. It's a great call. Our team in red today matching our little blue, keeping it patriotic, and great call there.
We're wearing our blues here today for Memorial Day. Our officials are wearing red, so we are patriotic here at the NVA. Oh, have you noticed our logo also is red, white, and blue, as we are thankful to be Americans.
Very consistent in the brand. Well, there's a setback to give Sullivan another opportunity to score, but he sends that one along.
So it's now 4-2 for the Untouchables early on, and more Jacob Estema. Estema, by the way, yesterday in 9 attacks, had 6 kills, hit 67%, and was certainly involved in the blocking game. Smart play by Pereshkabov, over on 1, and Pereshkabov makes Southern Exposure pay.
Well, you know, we do our pregame estimations every time, and it's upsetting to me in the sense that I have gambled on Chicago a couple times this season, waiting for this lineup to be the lineup on the court. I think this is a team that can make a deep run this season. They're looking like they're starting to click early on. Plenty of weapons here. We'll see if they're able to continue this pressure.
Again, they're 1-4 in the year, but 3 of those losses went to 5 sets. John Andrews swinging for the first time as a pro, and he gets the kill. The youngster from North Bergen, New Jersey, was a National Player of the Week in Division III back on April 5th. So he was playing some of his best volleyball in the final weeks of his collegiate career.
It's a great time to be playing well and transition very naturally here into the league, and we'll see how that transition is made here as this match progresses.
McDonough with the serve. Here's John Andrews again, that's blocked back. They go back to Andrews another time, and he tools the block, so 2 for 2 for the youngster.
Danny Pereshkabov getting tooled, reaches under the net to try and bring that back. That is not allowed.
That was cute.
I don't even know how that would actually work if he's allowed to pursue that. No, because it would have gone through the pin, so you can't. But pretty funny all the same. Had to think through that one. I've never seen that.
Well, most people don't have arms long enough to even try, as he buries it in the back corner.
Expect to see Pereshkabov continue carrying a the brunt of the offensive load. As long as the passing from J-Rob and White there is up to par, though, I think that the middles are definitely going to be getting involved from Noah Ricchetti.
Well, if Jordan's involved, you're going to get two things: a magnificent stash,
Yep.
and consistent passing.
You're forgetting the great shoes.
I'm blinded by the shoes. That is brought back by Nice, and now we have a stuff down as Uchenna Ofoha finally closes the door there.
Celebrates with a little salsa 1-2 step.
He doesn't smile very much. He had a bit of a grin though.
Oh, he's such a fun guy when you get a chance to talk to him. He's just easygoing. He loves to mix it in with the boys and just have a good time. So if he gets energy early, this could be a bad thing for Chicago.
And Johnny Gomez nearly gets decapitated there. Another big smash from the right side. This is going to be huge here today, this matchup between Pereshkovov and whoever's the outside he's matched up with. In this rotation, it's John Andrews.
Yeah, Andrews not quite ready for the that quick back set. Did not get out to the pin and left Pereshkovov wide open.
They go to Sullivan, and that draws Nice into the net, and he has a look of shock on his face like Bill Buckner in 1986.
That one's tough. I don't know that he netted. They're certainly not going to challenge it. They had the discussion. The ball hit where his hand was. That was a tight call, but you know, sometimes the hand gets pushed by the ball into the net or the net bounces into the hand. Either way, not worth it. Just keep playing.
That's too long.
Yeah, rewarded right away. Serve goes long, no problem. Not worth killing your flow. The team is playing well. 1 point is only 4% of your effort to get to 25, so plenty of time to make that one up. Jake Ostema now making his return to the court as Garbowski goes to serve.
2-point lead for Chicago. They go to Sullivan out of the back row. Pereshkovov was waiting for it. Nice with the swing, and Gomez lays out. And Andrews with the deep dump. Another chance for Chicago from the back row. The touch after the attack from the Untouchables.
Will Ragland, one of the best pipe route hitters in the league. That's actually his preferred approach line. So you know that you're going to be seeing a lot of pipes here. Expect to see at least 5 to 6 throughout the match, if not more. It is an in-system option that the boys in black will definitely look to.
And that's an ace for the Untouchables. And the Untouchables looking to build upon the lead. Over on two. Sneaky Derek Sullivan.
Sullivan was, he kind of defined his NVA debut in 2021 as one of the most offensively oriented setters, almost so much so that every team expected it, and it kind of stopped working throughout the season because everyone just knew to commit on that move, but this team has not seen him as much before, so maybe not quite ready.
And Ofoha laughs off an ace.
Speaking of not ready, Nice not ready to handle it. Former teammate of Ramblers setter Michael Keegan as a Mastodon at Purdue Fort Wayne.
That's a great nickname, by the way. Mastodons.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. That's up there with the Gauchos, the Banana Slugs.
UCI Anteaters.
The Anteaters. I obviously have, you know, some affiliation with that university. I got my cousin with a building named after them there. So.
Oh, really?
Oh, you don't know this story.
I don't.
I'll have to tell you later as this match goes on. Good pass by Mashiki, and there's Sullivan swinging away.
Sullivan gets bailed out by a net from Nice, number 21 there. That's the second swing long, so we talked about the confidence of, you know, that Sullivan was going to be bringing in here in the absence of Mercado. Unfortunately, a net on a block, 2 swings long, kind of gets bailed out there. We'll see if he's able to shore this up as the match progresses.
Do you ever, walking around campus, ever see Frederick Reines Hall?
Doesn't ring a bell, but, you know.
As that is put away in the middle by Ostema. 1996, my grandmother's cousin won the Nobel Prize in quantum physics. and he was a professor. In fact, he was in charge of the physics department at UC Irvine. So after winning the Nobel Prize, they named the building after him.
You'd think as a business major I might be aware of that, but it doesn't ring any bells.
Oh, clearly, others got the brains in the family and not me. Skipped a few generations along the way.
Hey, here we are talking about some great volleyball, though, so joke's on them. I'll take this over a Nobel Prize any day.
Well, we will bring you the Nobel Prize in commentating here courtside as these teams play the first of 4 matches today. And it's interesting to me, while this may not be the marquee match of the day, this is probably the most important match of the day, just because this will completely change the outcome, the direction of the rest of the year for these two teams. And you see on the sideline, Untouchables coach Andrew Lee celebrating that point.
A rarely seen double called. Not many have been called, so it's interesting to see that one there get
First
called.
one I've seen the whole weekend, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
I think so.
Of course, I also have a terrible short-term memory, as we discovered yesterday. Astema smashes that one down.
Our resident goldfish at times.
Squirrel. Here's Austin, needs to serve his team up 6, trying to go to the tactical timeout with a commanding first set lead. And that's put down by the 6'9" McDonough.
McDonough's set is one of just mystery to me. I don't know how they're running the tempo. I mean, they're really just throwing a ball up and hoping that he gets up high enough to hit it. It's pretty entertaining to watch because he's someone that only picked up volleyball regularly about 3 years ago, so lacking a lot of the traditional finesse that you would expect and relying on sheer physicality.
Mashikian out of the back row, block back over on 2, and that's put down by McDonough. Use the weapons you got.
There's the physicality right there that we're talking about. Just smacks that one, doesn't let Sullivan put his hands on it. Says, all right, guys, I'm going to end this one right now.
So here is Eddie Mashikian. He finished with 10 kills yesterday, but on 27 attempts. So one area for him to clean up today is his efficiency. He was 37% yesterday. Robinson, big, perfect placement, but Pereshkovov couldn't get there. He places it over. McDonough, but there is Ricchetti, and Ragland able to slip this one through for the kill, and the Chicago side out, which sends us to a technical timeout. Game 1, 16-11, Untouchables on top. More to come. Back courtside here in San Bernardino, match 1 of 4 today. Match 9 of 12 for the weekend. And the Untouchables will look to build upon what is a 5-point lead. They didn't have to work too hard yesterday. We expect them to, well, certainly be challenged today, but Southern Exposure's got to get their passing going here. They've had some struggles early on. Andrews poked up in the air for Sullivan, and then Sullivan, the law firm, connects.
Man, that is a tricky one. The Sullivan to Sullivan. It's S-U-L-L-I-V-A-N to S-O-L-I-V-A-N, if I'm not mistaken. So trying to distinguish that one's always fun. But
S-O-L-I-V-A-N. No, that's not. I can't do Mickey Mouse. Damn it. I wanted to
swing and a miss.
that will fall off the tape. Man, you got to have 11 letters to pull that off. As Eddie Mishikian uncorks the ace off of the tape monster. Nick is sitting here counting on his fingers. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U.
The fact, I just couldn't believe how quickly you knew that was 11 letters. That's
I
what
have
I
a
could
lot
not.
of useless knowledge in this mind of mine, Nick. Plus, remember, I got 3 kids, so I've spent way too much money at that abyss in Central Florida.
I believe it. I believe it.
So after they clean up the perspiration on the court, after Eddie trickles the ace off of the tape, or Eddie, Madonna, I should say, off of the tape, I give Mishikian credit. That was McDonough's ace. Sorry, Evan. As that is put away cross court, that is the angle that Danny loves.
Yeah, he's really killing it.
So Pereshkovov, he wears 99 because we're only allowed 2 digits. 100 is not permitted. And that is picked up by the Untouchables, or by Southern Sports, sitting over Untouchables, trying to capitalize. Ragland down the line, it's wide. He's pointing for a touch, and I don't believe they're gonna challenge this, unless Ragland can talk Coach Lee into it. How much do you really believe there was a touch? Apparently not enough to challenge it. Just, gamesmanship.
Yep.
Love to see that. Over on 2 of Ricchetti. That was collected by Sullivan. And then that is blocked down as the Untouchables have built this lead after Southern Exposure pulled within 3, now back to 18-14. And it'll be Ragland to serve.
Garbowski doing a great job shutting that down and closing the seam on that block.
Good pass by Andrews. Sullivan tries to go over on 2, and that's too long by Camille Garbowski. Got a good look at it, just couldn't find the back line.
John Andrews struggling a little bit right now to handle the heat, kind of passing a lot of balls very tight to the net, forcing Sullivan to use all of his size as the setter here. See if he's able to pull those balls off the net by about 2-3 feet, center them up in the court, giving them a couple more chances.
Here's Andrews to serve. Big serve by the youngster. And that is a misfire by Danil Pereshkovov. A rare misfire for him because he loves that tight angle. He feasts on it.
Yeah, that was a great pass from Jordan Robinson there, but a heck of a serve from Andrews.
I said Andrews and Robinson know each other well. We'll see how this transpires throughout this match. And an ace for John Andrews.
Wow, you couldn't have been more on time with that one. An ace in the seam between Jordan Robinson there and Will Ragland, and that's going to force a timeout. Yeah. Chicago Untouchables feeling a little bit rattled as they are now in the lead by just 1.
Yeah, it was what was at one point a 7-point lead, now 1. 18-17, John Andrews. Again, don't expect too much out of him in his debut. This is a match where they're trying, at least in the first couple sets, to get him acclimated to professional volleyball after a 5-year collegiate career in New Jersey. Of course, he had an extra year due to COVID. A lot of players throughout the country have taken advantage of that extra year of eligibility. He was a 3-time first-team All New Jersey Athletic Conference honoree, and was actually the most outstanding player of the 2021 Skyline Championship match.
And for those of us not associated with that general area, what is the Skyline match?
That is just one of the conferences that is on the East Coast, Division III, small colleges, not many that get national attention. But as we've talked about a lot this year, there's so few options in Division I in this country that a lot of the talent has to play at other levels, as that one will bounce the wrong way off the net. There's only 30-something Division I offerings in the country. So if you were a player and you want to
it's
play at the next
30-something
level,
Division I and Division II combined.
Division I and Division II, yeah. So
I think there's only 19 Division I programs, if I'm not mistaken.
There's not a lot of options, so there's a lot more high school standouts in this country that need somewhere to play, and that's why Division III and also NAIA volleyball in this country on the men's side continues to flourish and grow, and you see new programs being added every year. I mean, I used to be assistant commissioner of a league back 15 years ago when there was 47 teams, and that was pretty much everyone in small college volleyball. Now there's well over 100 plus, if not 150. And again, Pereshkova can't find the angle.
A big triple block there. Southern Exposure not giving a lot of space there to, hit easy. But I think there was a net that is being discussed.
Yeah, that is what Pereshkova was signaling. So there are 3 challenges for Chicago to use. Do they use this? Because if
there it is,
and they are, because if this is not won on the overturn, then we are suddenly tied at 19-all, which would be a lot of a collapse here for Chicago.
It certainly would be, but let's take a moment to talk about the challenge system here in the NVA, a new addition in 2022. We were determined to make sure that all calls were as correct as possible, so we've added a 10-camera system on the 3-meter lines at the top of the net. We've got 2 up there, and every single baseline and sideline with a camera on it. So what we are able to do is give each team 3 challenges that can be used at any time during the first 4 sets. When they use a challenge, it gets reviewed up top in our booth. They'll take a look at it, and if they have irrefutable evidence that can overturn, there is a list of calls, whether it's back row attack infractions, nets, touches on the net, as well as foot faults. That is all reviewable material. Then if you are successful with your challenge, that gives you your challenge back and you remain with the full 3 challenges. If you're incorrect, you lose that challenge, go down to 2, and then it's on the teams to manage their challenge load until set number 5. If they arrive at set number 5, however many challenges they have becomes now 1, with the same rules applying. That if you're correct, you get it back. If you're incorrect, you lose it. We saw that come to a very important, crutch moment yesterday during one of our matches. An early challenge for Southern Exposure that was not liked by Mike Pelletier. He said, don't challenge this. It was challenged all the same. Later on in that 5th set, there was another play they would have liked to have been able to challenge.
And I think they would have won. I thought that ball was in, but they were out of challenges.
So there is a lot of pressure to do so. No net there, and we see the point stays as called.
The Untouchables have not had the most success throughout the year in their challenges.
I was just going to say, Andrew Lee, I think with the worst challenge record
he probably has the worst challenge. I mean, he celebrated his first challenge win after like 0-4, 0-5 in our first event of the year. And it's funny, there was a comment made yesterday, I believe it was during the Freedom Stingers match, as this one just sails wide. If we had, and maybe this is something we can break down at some point during the year, it's going to be a little difficult because we're going to have to go through each of our matches to look at the challenges. But if we could correlate the successes of challenges won to teams' won-loss record, are the teams with the better records having more success in that area? I think there is. I think there's absolutely a correlation. Pereshkova able to push that one off the block for the kill and a Chicago side out.
It could be. I would also argue that might be one of those causation correlation kind of things, though, because the teams that don't, if you're winning a lot more, you have a lot less pressure to throw some Hail Mary challenges, I would say. So I think you're probably less likely to have misses in those close sets.
I look at the Tyrants, for example, in that match against the Ramblers where they had a huge challenge. That is stuffed down, big stuff from Evan McDonough. 6'9", can't avoid him. But that match in that 5th set, Tyrants, Las Vegas, that's the sign of a good team right there. Moro Grasso saving a challenge for the right moment and ended up winning that match. That was the decisive moment. Great save there by Johnny Gomez. And that will be dumped over by Sullivan. Another chance for the Untouchables. Pereshkova out of the outside. Andrews is there. over ball. An off-balance attack from Pereshkovov. Here's Meshikian. That's blocked back. Gomez. That's a little too tight to the net.
Oh,
a rare misfire from the Southern Exposure libero.
Wow, that was a hectic play. Everybody getting involved on both sides. Discipline blocking from Jaco Stemma, doing a masterful job controlling the net for the Chicago Untouchables there.
Johnny Gomez plays such great defense, but a mistake there. We'll see if Southern Exposure can counter. Meshikian with a stutter step attack. Here's Ragland. Oh, the blitz, and that draws Southern Exposure into the net. And Ragland with the point as the Untouchables have taken the lead back and grabbed it by the horns. 23-20. Southern Exposure will call timeout. We'll take a quick break, come back to see how game one ends here at the Pierce Sports Center. So after the Untouchable timeout, I should say the Southern Exposure timeout, Untouchables, Austin Neisher server. And big time solo stuff. Will Ragland shuts down Eddie Meshikian, and that will give the Untouchables 4 game one set points. Untouchables looking for their 4th set win in a row. It'll wait at least a moment as that is short. And here is Eddie to serve for the boys in pink and teal blue, sky blue. What kind of blue is that? That's turquoise. Good spot. Robinson handles it. They go to Pereshkovov, and he ends it with a kill as he's able to split the block of McDonough and Andrews. And the Chicago Untouchables, well, they have game one in the books, 25-21, as they lead the match in a battle of teams that are 1 and 4. Game 2 coming up next from San Bernardino. Rejoin us. Courtside here in San Bernardino, Ira Thornton, Nick England, Noah Chess, Matt Prosser's prowling around somewhere as well, as the Chicago Untouchables have themselves a good first set win. They were challenged there and were able to overcome some adversity there as the Southern Exposure were able to battle back from a 7-point deficit. And in fact, it was 16-11 at 1 point in the middle of the set. Yet Southern Exposure tied it, and Chicago wasn't phased.
Yeah, this is something that's really plagued this Southern Exposure team all year, the ability to clutch up and be there at the right time. But to kind of give a little more insight, Noah, you're hearing and seeing a little bit more eyes on the sideline. What are you seeing?
Well, yeah, guys, and like you mentioned pregame, a lot on the line for both teams, and they both have one win, but they're kind of moving in a bit of a different direction. The Untouchables just got their first win and kind of feel like they're playing with nothing to lose, and they're battling back from, an 0-4 start. And for the Exposure, it almost seems like they're playing with everything to lose, with expectations being so high, and things are a bit more tense and of high importance on their side of the court than maybe for the Untouchables, who are playing a little looser. I know the Exposure early in the season were laughing and giggling, and a very high energy, fun team, and those realities of possibly missing out on the playoffs are starting to set in. I think that's weighing on their minds a bit more than it might for the Untouchables.
Well, we see something very unique, some great insight right there from Noah. But right now, Mike Pelletier making his appearance and debut as an outside hitter for Southern Exposure. Also, we see Tim Lurich returning to replace Evan McDonough. So it makes me wonder if there's anything wrong with Hubbard Neal, or there just is some confidence here that they're trying something new.
Well, it's definitely a different approach, and what's notable here is Southern Exposure now. They're trying to find answers. They have lost 4 matches in a row. Their only win this year, as Sullivan puts it away, was a 4-setter to open the season against the Inland Empire Matadors. Since then, they've been a team that's been looking for answers, and you know what? When you're looking for answers, Nick, sometimes you get desperate to try different things in each set until you find something that will stick. And at this point,
yeah, and I want to take a moment for any new viewers. I see a question here in our YouTube chat asking games to 21 or 25. So if you're watching the NVA USA, this is the Pro Volleyball League here in the U.S. Every team, there's 12 teams across the league. All matches are played to 25. They're a best of 5. That 5th set will be to 15 if we get there. So these teams have been playing. This is the 3rd event of 5 regular season. Our 6th event will have 8 teams representing our 4 different divisions, and they will be, so these teams are trying to qualify for that 6th and final event. So 2 matches every weekend, meaning 10 regular season matches, approximately every 3 weeks, spanning from our first event in the beginning of April to the first weekend of August, a 4-month season.
Pelletier also played outside during his time at Springfield, was the most outstanding player in 2012 when the Pride won the inaugural NCAA D3 National Championship. Springfield's always one of the top teams in the country in small college volleyball, has been that way for generations under Charlie Sullivan, legendary head coach of the Pride. Springfield, Massachusetts is not just known as the birthplace of basketball. That's where volleyball has the Hall of Fame as well. So nice to see some players come out of that program and be able to play at the next level. That one off the ceiling, it changed direction. Jordan Robinson tried to make the adjustment, but the ball had other ideas.
Oh, there you go. Getting a little bit of information from Coach Robert Winger, coach over at Misericordia University, in the chat, filling me in on some information I was unaware of prior to being, in my experience, Pelletier was setting. So plenty of time at Springfield as a top outside hitter. So that's where you see a little bit more of the confidence than I had my knowledge lacking there. So great to see.
How do you say that college in Pennsylvania?
Misericordia, is that correct?
That is
incorrect?
Incorrect.
Fill me in.
That is Misericordia.
Misericordia, okay.
However, you are forgiven because, as we learned earlier in the year, I did a match between NJT and UC San Diego, and I did not say La Jolla the correct way.
La Jolla?
La Jolla. It was
La
La
Jolla, okay.
La Jolla, California. It's a great place. Beautiful trees.
Hey, I'm learning a lot of things right now, so forgive me on that one, Rob.
This is the East Coast, West Coast bias.
Yeah.
If I need to know West Coast stuff, I text Nick and Matt. If they need to know East Coast things, well, no, I just ignore the text. They send them.
Things I learned, New Egypt was a place in New Jersey when I was picking up Matt Carnegie this year. I had never heard of that location before. I thought it was a joke.
I think most people who live in New Jersey have not heard of New Egypt, New Jersey. It's literally dead smack in the middle of nowhere, and that's uncommon in New Jersey. Here is Pereshkovov to serve. Going to go right side Sullivan as Pereshkovov's there for it. Ragland with the power poke. Jordan there again. Ragland again, this time tooling the block for the point. As the Untouchables and Southern Exposure, one area that was certainly lacking was the accuracy on attack. Game number 1, in a win, the Untouchables only hit 33%. Southern Exposure 31%. Southern Exposure actually had a 10-7 edge in kills in that match. In that set, I should say.
Yeah.
And still couldn't find a way to win it because, well, too many errors. As this one will find its way through. Tim Lurich getting on the court and getting involved. And that will be a kill for Kamil Garbowski.
And on the Exposure lineup changes, I talked to their coaching staff, and they were telling me they want to get more passing in the lineup, and they really want to get Jan Sullivan going. That's their big emphasis. And in terms of getting McDonough out of the lineup and putting in Tim Lurich, they said they need to get more transition kills from the middle, and they think he's better suited for that than McDonough would be.
Interesting insight. Obviously, they're giving up the big 6'9" frame that he presents. As that's poked deep by Peltier. Here's a chance for Nice to counter, but no. Defensively, can the Untouchables use this to their favor? They will not, as that is a 10-foot line violation on Meshikian.
Yeah, I like that input there from Noah. We were seeing McDonough getting quite a few opportunities there throughout the set in transition. I'm getting the exact number for you right now. He had 6 total attempts, 3 points and no errors, but maybe they're just looking for different looks, I guess. Swinging at a 50% clip is still quite impressive, but Tim Lurich off of a season over in second tier in the Bundesliga in Germany is an exceptional middle blocker, one of the top ones in the 2021 season, so not a surprising change there at all either.
Nice, that one off the block. They go, interesting approach there to go Pelletier as he chose to stop on a dime and dump it over, and that's sent right back. At this level, the Untouchables will make you pay.
I think he wants to air that one out about 2 to 3 feet deeper. What he's basically, in my speculation, trying to do is jam up this setter where he wants to get in there, make Sullivan take the first ball, and make Pereshkovov take the first ball and get Noah Ricchetti kind of jammed up there. Unfortunately, leaving it too shallow, it just gets hit back at him like an overpass.
The joust is won by Sullivan as the side out goes over to Southern Exposure. They have themselves a 1-point deficit now, as we will see Pelletier serve. Pelletier has a lot of pro experience playing elsewhere, and he's now finally found his way to the only fully professional men's league here in the United States. Pelletier making his debut this weekend. And I believe he's going to help this team long term. It's a matter of how well are they going to match. Are they going to get enough trainings together, Nick, where you're going to see what that Southern Exposure chemistry we saw last year?
Yeah, guys that are able to be plugged in and do a variety of things and do them well are always highly valued and touted at the higher levels of play. A misconnection there to Lurich on the back one, though, a little bit too high. You're not setting McDonough anymore. You've got to find that on a little bit of a quicker route and get Lurich involved. 10-7, a 3-point lead. Chicago Untouchables feeling like they might be opening up the control once again. And even with a serve that is left short, 2 points is still a solid position to be in here at 10-8.
Yeah, bad misfire there on the serve by Garbowski. We'll see if Southern Exposure is able to counter here. They'll bring back Tim Lurich. Lurich out of Shorewood, Wisconsin. Played club volleyball at the University of Minnesota. And that is put away. Jacob Astema, one of the youngest players in the NVA, only 21 years old. And he is absolutely continuing to rock in the middle.
A product of NAIA volleyball, D1 is not the only way to the top, showcasing a variety of skills, but the experience of Uchenna Ofoha bringing the heat. Number 12, Pound Town takes that one deep into zone 5. The Canadian getting it done.
And I think the finest point that we have to accentuate that point is Felix Chapman.
Yep.
Played in a small school in Iowa. He was the NAIA National Player of the Year, and he now has the highest single match kill total probably in the history of American pro volleyball. 36 kills yesterday, a thing of beauty. We'll be talking about that for years to come, I think.
Yeah, it was certainly an impressive effort from him there. Right now, you're seeing Chicago not having to rely on one individual like that because everyone producing at a very high clip.
They go back to Ofoha. No laughing matter.
We talked about this coming into the match, the importance that the middles were going to play on exposure, and Ofoha's involvement doing a nice job right now. One of those small opportunities for improvement at the end of set 1. Exposure passing at a 55% clip, while the Untouchables passing at a 71. When you see anybody above a 70%, that's basically free reign to run your offense at full capacity. Exposure, a little bit of room for improvement there, but they're doing so here. Ofoha puts his 3rd kill in a row on the scoreboard. A welcome boon to the offense of the boys in pink.
Love how they are getting him involved, Nick, and that certainly has helped them catapult back into this match now as Eddie Mashikian will serve. Looking to tie it up for Southern Exposure. They got to win the set. Cannot afford to fall down 2 and try a reverse sweep. Oh, big bombs from Astema.
The battle in the middle is well underway. The last 5 points scored, if I'm not mistaken. Astema and Ofoha trading blows, throwing haymakers right now.
Even Noah appreciates that one. Sitting here on the sideline, nodding his little nods of approval. Jacob Astema to serve. This time they go to Jan Sullivan, and he dumps it in front of a lunging Noah Ricchetti. No way he's going to get there.
You're going to take that slander from him?
Back here courtside and a solo stuff. Tim Lurich shutting down the middle game of Kamil Garbowski.
The middle game continues as Ofoha and Astema have now both rotated back row. It's Lurich and Garbowski's turn to trade blows, and Lurich starts it off in his own favor with that shutdown.
And here's Uchenna Ofoha going deep. Cross court, and Garbowski's, Pereshkov's drawn cold there.
Yeah.
That was an angle that he was eating up early in the match, and that's 3-4 errors now.
Yeah, going that same exact swing, you're dead on, Ira. I mean, it feels exceptionally uncharacteristic that he's struggling with that, but he's swinging down the line so well. We'll see if he opts to change that attack line.
Well, now Southern Exposure has taken the lead at 14-13, and as if Nick drew it up and put it on a chart, you see Pereshkov slice it down the line.
Nick, I legitimately think he heard you
from the broadcast desk.
Well, we're only about 20 feet away,
Yeah.
and we're standing, so
And he
our
probably
voices
said, "You know what?
project.
I'm getting
Nick,
props
that's a
right now
great
from the
idea.
Chicago bench. They all heard it too.
Nick England drawing some part-time money as an unofficial sideline coach for the Untouchables.
Yeah, I'll let Andrew Lee know I'm waiting for my cheeseburger as payment after this one.
Nick England also now in charge of all Chicago challenges. Ricchetti, back set, Pereshkovov. Gomez was there for it. They run the middle. Ping pong, it'll find its way over. Ricchetti to Ragland, and he puts it down.
The King College alumni, or apologies, Eastern Mennonite. I was getting him switched up with Mashiki.
New
and
Jersey
Eastern,
versus Virginia.
Yeah.
Learn your geography, be relevant.
You know, it's all east of me out here. Eastern Mennonite, sorry, one of the few guys we've seen out of that college getting involved in the NVA. Some fantastic contributions to this Chicago squad.
That's off the court, and it is outside the antenna, cannot be saved by Derek. And that will take us to a tactical timeout, as it was a 14-13 lead for the Southern Exposure, only to see the Untouchables one more time with their backs being challenged, fight back to take a 16-14 lead. We'll be back for more. Well, there you see the teams retaking the court and bouncing the ball. Daniil Pereshkovov trying to build upon what has been a three-point run here in game two for Chicago Untouchables. Again, Sullivan, that's stuck in the back corner. And
That
that's
just-
side out for Southern Exposure, timely swing.
Yeah, paints that line nicely. Both of the right sides have been struggling to find a little bit of consistency. They're scoring effectively, but you want to see if both of them can dial this in just a little bit more.
Good pass by Ragland. They go back to Will, and he eats up Johnny Gomez.
Gomez wants that one back, not quite where he wanted to be, stopped on defense there. It's pretty rare to see him get beat to his left.
And Ragland to serve. Shikian passes. Lurich is blocked back. He's there for it. Jordan Robinson reads it well. Pereshkovov swinging away, and it sails into Anaheim.
Just talked about a little bit about that swing and consistency and challenging those guys to see what they're able to get done.
Chance here for Southern Exposure to tie. As Peltier. Line drive, jump float. Ricchetti tries to dump it on two and misconnected right into the net, and we're all square at 17 apiece. The idea was right, but a misconnect. Running that one down was Peltier. Ragland with the dig. They go to Nice. Did he get the touch? Indeed. And we'll have a substitution here. Hey, I thought you were retired. He told us last night he was done. Kai Duquem will see the court here.
He said at most he'll see, serving specialist was the most he thought he would contribute. The former Utah Stinger, now living out in New York City, has joined Chicago Untouchables.
And what's ironic is he is also an NJCU coach. He's coaching at Long Island University as well, but so he knows a lot of these guys so well, as this was stuck through by Pelletier. Kai actually was on the coaching staff of Jordan Robinson last year as his top assistant for a while.
Well, there you go. The defensive specialist 1-2 punch of Chicago Untouchables.
Well, Kai is part of the LIU coaching staff in Long Island, trying to build one of the newer Division I programs in the country. And they had a lot of success. They traveled, they went out to Hawaii, played a bunch of the California teams, and they are quickly becoming a force out east. In year 2, they have ambitions of challenging to be a top 15 ranked team in D1. We'll see if they're able to pull that off. It's obviously a lofty expectation, but they might get there eventually. As that one is left short, Southern Exposure has regained the lead now at 19-18. Haven't been able to lead by more than 1 in this set. And we'll see if that changes here as Tim Lurich drops back. See how Chicago is able to fend this off. Off the tape, Ragland, great pass. But Sullivan is there. No, Uchenna Ofoha buries it.
Ofoha able to get the block touch to slow Ostema down, but then in transition, he says, hey man, it's my turn. Let me show you what a seasoned veteran can do. And that's gonna get a timeout called as Exposure now extends their lead to 2.
So 20-18, the Untouchables will talk this over. We'll take a quick break. Come back for more. Discuss this in the chat and we'll connect. And we're back courtside after the timeout. Will Ragland emerges with a kill on the 10 ball as that gives Chicago a much needed side out, prevents Southern Exposure from building a 3-point lead. So now the Untouchables with a chance to tie. Here's Noah Richetti rather than Noah Chast. Eddie Mashikian cross court. Jordan Robinson's there. Oh, reach out and stuff someone. Uchenna Ofoha puts it to the court.
You just said J-Rob was there, but man, so was Uchenna. Put some first-class postage sending that one back.
And he is smiling and grinning now, Ira.
Yeah, well, he had a very even temperament in set number 1, but I would be smiling until the cows come home if I'm him after that monster rejection. 21-19. Robinson, another good pass. Nice. Oh, good spot.
Snipes the corner there, zone 5. The line attack right now is very effective for the Chicago Untouchables. The more they're able to spread their offense going antenna to antenna or pin to pin, they're going to continue being effective. It's all based on their ability to continue passing the ball and run an effective offense.
Nice to tie. Jan Sullivan, Nice with the pass. They go outside, Ragland to tie, down the line, and indeed.
Once again, the line swing is proving effective. If you're a Chicago Untouchables, keep attacking that and force an adjustment from the block of Southern Exposure. Also, you're avoiding the hands of Uchenna Ofoha, who's already showcasing that his block is nothing to be trifled with.
No fear from Will Ragland. Southern Exposure, do they counter? Robinson lays out for that one. Knee swinging away. Southern Exposure to retake the lead. They do. Uchenna gets it done.
In transition, he is unstoppable. That is the fifth kill, I believe, this set alone. When you see those kind of numbers from a middle who's only on the court half the time, it is absolutely ridiculous. But this is exactly the kind of output that Southern Exposure needs from their big man in the middle.
Oh, Stemma has 5 kills for Chicago, and Uchenna, well, he's countered with 8 kills, a block, and an ace. 10 points, having a magnificent effort. Southern Exposure needs every point out of him right now. Ricchetti feeds Ragland, and Gomez cannot get out of the way in time. Tough one there for Southern Exposure to deal with. And we see a 22-22 tie, so it's a race to 3. Does Chicago take a 2-0 lead, or do we have a potential highlight match coming up?
We all said from the very, very beginning, there was no easy way through either one of these teams. So it's a race to win by 2. We'll see how this unfolds, and there's an effective
comes
spot.
through, gets the touch. So a side out for Southern Exposure, 23-22. I think most of us thought this would be, in the pregame show, a 5-setter. I think, in fact, all 3 of us kind of agreed upon that.
Yeah, I don't know that we made exact. I don't recall
I
alluding
remember
to.
hearing 5 sets come out of a few of our predictions. Is that fall in? Add another race to the stat column. Uchenna coming through, 24-22, and the Untouchables got to talk about this. On timeout on the Chicago side. We'll take a quick break as we come back for the conclusion of Game 2. Southern Exposure a point away from evening this match at a set apiece. I did pick Southern Exposure to win this match. Noah has come on and made his prediction now after he's seen this, and he has told us in arrears he now picked Chicago in 5. So we will.
That was my pick personally to start the match.
Over on 1, a chance here for Southern Exposure to end it. Peltier with the roll. Ricchetti was there. Pereshkova swinging away. Dan Sullivan goes deep. Oh, laying out Austin Neese with the athletic play. Ragland leaves it short, and we will go to a Game 3, even at a set apiece, as Southern Exposure pulls it out late, 25-22. Game 3 coming up next in San Bernardino, California. Rejoin us, will you? teams retake the court. As an exposure, well, they have been led by Untouchables. He's been the difference maker in this match as they were able to tie that after a 25-22 win. Foha through 2 sets, 8 kills on 11 swings, no errors in that mix, 73% rate, and he's dropped in a couple of aces as well. Big part of the blocking game. Even though only 1 terminal block so far, has had a lot of alters at the net. Meanwhile, for the Untouchables, they got to keep feeding Will Ragland at this point, as he has been the most consistent, 10 kills on 18 swings. We haven't said the name of Danny Pereshkabov lately. He does have 9 kills on 21 swings, but they largely did not feed him much in the latter half of that set.
Yeah, I'm also looking at the impressive clip here. Jake Ostema, 5 points on 6 attempts. The biggest note there was Untouchables went from passing at a 71% clip to a 55%. Southern Exposure stayed dead even at a 55%. So both teams passing identically. Interesting to see how that's going to impact their overall offensive output. But we now see on the side of the Untouchables a switch up in the middle. Zachar Pasha, who you mentioned earlier, had a fantastic match yesterday, making his appearance, I assume, replacing Garbowski.
That is left short for Southern Exposure. No additional changes that we see out there. As Austin Neese will serve. Game number 3 underway here at the Pierce Sports Center. Gomez lays out for that one. Mashikian, tough angle. And somehow did Jordan Robinson get a piece of it? No pancake. Breakfast is not served. And a point for Southern Exposure.
Our officials all over that one. Jordan Robinson not even trying to say that he got under that one. So great call there.
And here's Eddie Mashikian, the Atlanta, Georgia native, to serve. One of our fans in the chat talking about how they want to see Pereshkabov get the ball more. Here's Ragland, as this one is a tool to block, as he picks up kill number 11. His season high is 17. And they may need him to top that today if they're going to be victorious. There is Chicago to serve. Jan Sullivan, Neese there for the pass. Here's Pereshkabov, and he gets shut down. Big stuff by Pelletier and Uchenna Ofoha.
Pelletier coming in and providing a little bit of stability, I think, that Exposure was looking for. He's been picking up some nice digs, and the big thing was just providing a little bit of consistency throughout some of these extended rallies that we're seeing. It's nice having another bit of confidence added to the court, and seems to be paying off so far. We'll see how it unfolds here in the 3rd set.
Robinson looking to Ragland. And a pass from the middle from Ofoha. Eddie Mashikian out of the back row, able to tool the block.
3 sets of blockers there up and early, but beautiful swing. Interesting approach line there coming off the left side. Mashikian getting an aggressive swing there. Good look from him.
That 17 kill performance we referenced for Ragland came in their only 5-setter that I thought that they realistically should have won. Was the match I thought they gave away against the Matadors. They did, of course, pick up their first win of the year. That match against the Matadors, they led 2 sets to 1. They won the 3rd set 25-15 and then let it get away. One of those matches that they'll certainly want back, Nick, if they don't make the playoffs. They'll look back at that one as they had it in their hands and couldn't contain it.
Yeah, you know, you just got to keep pushing forward, see what's ahead, and play the hand that you're dealt. And that's been the big thing we talked about. Both of these squads back against the wall. How are they going to answer back? You know, knowing that this is really a must-win situation.
That one goes wide. Zachar Pasha has a fan club going on in our live chat on YouTube.
Yeah, a bunch of former teammates from his time down in as a Texas Tyrant, as well as other Chicago natives, and Nick Ramos, who has returned home after playing for a weekend of the Matadors.
John Sullivan able to slipped that past Pereshkova cross court. So a side out back to the boys in pink as they have a 2-point lead. I'm trying to determine what's that shade of blue, Nick?
I don't know, but I always call these jerseys their cotton candy jerseys.
Cotton candy, excellent reference.
That nice baby blue and a light pink to boot. Looking good out there with the floral patterns.
In the middle, Estemma was looking for the touch, couldn't get it.
Uncharacteristic error, so that's his first one of the match.
And it gives Southern Exposure a 3-point lead.
Looking at Jan Sullivan's stat line right now, he's got 7 points on 21 attempts with 2 errors, I believe, is the current count. So he's swinging at about a 30% efficiency. For a right side, you want to see that number quite a bit higher. I would say probably, 25% more in terms of efficiency. Get him up around 400 or 40% efficiency. So definitely some room for improvement there. But, he's got some time. Everyone else passing well, give him that chance. We'll see if he's able to step that up just a little bit more.
2-point lead for Southern Exposure as Estemma serves away, goes deep corner. Peltier was waiting for it. And that's put down by Tim Lurich for a Southern Exposure side out. So Lurich, who came in place of Evan McDonough, who got the starting nod, but wanted a different level of energy in their middles. And so far, so good for Southern Exposure.
And I think Evan was actually playing quite well.
I thought he was playing great.
I think they were just looking for a little change-up. And again, Lurich last year was one of the top 5 blocking middles in the league. If I'm not mistaken, was a 2021 middle blocker, was one of the 2 middle blocker MVPs. So on the all NVA team.
Certainly had a tremendous year. And listen, sometimes it's not about how well you're playing. Sometimes it's all about the matchups. Because I thought McDonough was having a tremendous effort getting involved blocking-wise, but they weren't getting enough offensive contributions, and Lurich certainly able to provide that.
Yeah, and Sullivan to Sullivan connection there. The backside D-ball, there's a little bit more of that consistency we're looking for. A great swing for him. That's going to tally kill number 8.
So 9-6 lead as Derek will serve away. Out of the back row, Ragland. Ofoha says no mas.
Yeah, a little bit of a misconnection. That one's behind Ragland's head. He runs it on such a quick tempo there. It's really got to be in front of him. Only one blocker in front of him. Ofoha staying true on that. Great discipline and deflects that one straight down, giving it no chance to be covered.
And Sullivan serving. Just time left, it's short. So a good run for the Untouchables, 3-point lead. As we will see former Mastodon Austin Neese. Great D1 volleyball out of that part of the country. That comes over on one after the attack from Mashikian. They go to Ofoha, and he does his thing.
He has been unstoppable and unrelenting in the middle. Absolutely carrying Southern Exposure on the offensive load, it feels like right now.
Uchenna right now is playing at an incredible pace. As we will see a substitution here for Chicago coming onto the court. He is number 15, Juan Cotes, who got to start yesterday. The nearly 31-year-old Puerto Rican. He'll be 31 right after the conclusion of our 4th event over Father's Day weekend. Played well yesterday and replaces Neese here, and he's immediately tested. Why not go right after the guy cold off the bench? Johnny Gomez showing some hands, and Sullivan, though, could not get the touch. Oh, my goodness. I thought in transition they were going to catch Chicago on their heels. Couldn't get it.
And a little quick note for some rule clarification here. You saw Johnny Gomez jump set. The reason being is, as a libero, you cannot hand set a ball in front of the 3-meter line to a front row player, or else that is called a back row attack. Reason for that rule is teams would likely not ever run a setter then, because you can have an all-time back row setter. So that is designed to handicap the position just a little bit.
And a rare misconnection there with Foha. Here's Chicago to serve here, Zakir Pasha. And that is a tool to block for the Untouchables as they continue to hold on to the lead here. 3 points, game number 3, as we are even one set apiece. And again, Southern Exposure comes in at 1-4 on the year.
Ofoha right now approaching, if not surpassing, double-digit kills. He's either sitting at 9 or 10 by my count, swinging at about a 75% efficiency rate.
Down the line, Pereshkovov. That is brought back. Oh, what an effort there from Pelletier. Chicago trying to counter, and Ragland does get it after all. But a great effort by Pelletier going behind the referee stand to pull that back and allow the play to continue.
That felt like it was all but over, but Pelletier didn't waste a step in terms of his path there, getting to watch that one back, getting right around that ref stand.
Play through the whistle. That's what they teach you at the very earliest stages of every sport, and Pelletier living by example there. As poked over, the set was behind Luridge. Chance here for Southern Exposure now to counter. Diving save by Kotez, and another great play by Mushikian. And finally, Sullivan, the attack is too long. Jen Sullivan is drawn cold here for Southern Exposure, and the Chicago Untouchables are within 1, but this is going to be challenged. The Southern Exposure will make their first challenge call of the day. Sullivan, who really needs a kill to get going, maybe this will be overturned in favor of Southern Exposure.
Yeah, so the call right there was Southern Exposure is challenging a touch on that last swing by Sullivan right there, seeing if they can get one. And I always talk about this, but got to rehash it, you know, if someone hasn't heard the point before. I think that the block touch challenge is always one of the most interesting because the blocker knows. You know if you touch that or not. And so as a result, this is the most correct in terms of it's just definitive, right? It's a pretty easy call once you get that camera angle. And so right now, Chicago Untouchables gets to have the ability to have a conversation knowing if there was a touch or not.
And of course, the reason that the opposing team won't say anything is because if it's inconclusive on the replay system, well, then the call stands. Noah Chast over there with the Untouchables guys, trying to see if he can get anybody to admit to some guilt, but so far nobody is in. Everybody's pleading the fifth.
You're right, Ira. I tried to tell him, to touch it, be honest, and he looked at me and said, I can't tell you that, which isn't really a good sign, but I don't know, he might just have a poker face on.
Who was the conversation
Will
with?
Ragland.
Oh, Will Ragland, that's probably a touch. Expect this one to be overturned then if you know anything about him.
Well, Ragland is not giving away any evidence. Was there a wrench in the conservatorium? Is he guilty or not? Was it the lead pipe in the library?
Now, the big important thing to note here, though, is there must be irrefutable evidence to overturn the call, and that is the only space in which sometimes these calls can get very close.
I do like how Noah gets right in the middle of the conversation to try to get some evidence. And we knew that Ragland was guilty. Guilty as charged.
Did you hear Ragland goes, "What? It only touched half my hand."
That's incredible.
One of our many colorful personalities here in the league. If you want to learn a little bit more about number 13, you can go check out. We have a Mic'd Up Monday series. There was some awesome clips from him that you can hear a little bit more about what goes on inside of his head while he's playing these matches.
Do we really want to know what's going on inside of Will Ragland's head? That might be a dark, dark place to go. There may be no coming back from that.
I intentionally put that content to release on Monday, so when you're having a rough day at the office, there's someone like Will Ragland, Chad Mercado, Ryan Matherval had segments, and pretty entertaining stuff.
Free ball chance here for Southern Exposure after they get the point on overturn. Jordan Robinson somehow keeps that one alive. And then Pelletier sends it back. Oh, Jacob Astema buries it.
In transition, The Chicago Untouchables fend off the offensive attempts there from Exposure, buying time until number 14 can deliver. And Austin Neese now making his return to the court. That looked like Cortez was just giving him a little bit of a breather back row. Maybe he was a serving target, and they're relying on a little bit of just more of a steady platform there.
Will Ragland touched at least his whole hand there. Unleashes the ace. And Chicago back within one. They trail 13-12. This one lands a little bit beyond the back line, and Ragland trying to put some service pressure on Southern Exposure. And I love Ragland's game. Again, another undersized outside, but he plays with as much energy as anybody on the floor. The stash is not quite as good as Jordan Robinson, though, as Neese misfires.
A lot of triple blocks coming through on the side of Exposure, and it's forcing the pin hitters now to really make some decisions about how they want to swing. Neese looking for some high hands, missing it there.
Danny Pereshkov down the line. He can't connect. That is his fourth error. At 16-12, Southern Exposure in the lead. A 4-point edge sends us to our technical timeout here in Game 3 in San Bernardino. We're going to be back. You're going to be with us. So after the timeout, Peltier serving for Southern Exposure. Pereshkov, I don't think he got all of that one. Sullivan was waiting for it. Ragland can't continue the point. So Southern Exposure now has a healthy 5-point lead, Nick. This is looking good for the boys in the cotton candy.
Yeah, they really kind of found a second wind there. At 13-12, they've now really just flipped the switch, turned it on. 4 points in a row, putting Chicago under the gun on this one.
You know, what's interesting is we look at the current standings. This match actually may be more important to Chicago than Southern Exposure, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the standings in the National Conference, right now the Freedom are running away with the National Coastal at 6-0. Tyrants are running away with the Central at 5-1. So who else is going to be those two at-large wildcard teams? You expect the Stunners, who are 3-2 right now, to be one of them. The Blaze right now at 3-2 would probably be the most likely target for Chicago to make a late season run on. Right now the Blaze are 3-2. They're playing the Stunners today. Could potentially fall to 3-3 based on our pre-show picks. Chicago wins this match, they're within one of the Blaze.
Yeah.
Conversely, Southern Exposure at 1-4. If they lose this one and fall to 1-5, well, the Stingers certainly are going to be a playoff team. I think we can all agree upon that in the American Conference. So even if Southern Exposure loses this match, they'd be 1-5. The Matadors would be 1-5. The Kraken, depending on the outcome of today, will either be 2-4 or 3-3. I think the odds are better for Southern Exposure to be able to chase down a playoff spot over the final two regular season events than Chicago if Chicago falls today?
The only thing I would say that's different, your confidence in the Stingers. Right now, we're going to see likely today the Dallas Tornadoes actually pull ahead of them. If they win, they're going to be the ones that are getting the automatic berth from the American Central at 4-2, where the Stingers finished at 3-3. So the Stingers then not automatically in, losing their first seed priority, so they're going to be battling it out with the Kraken, Exposure, and
I think
Matadors.
it's fair to say, though, that either the Tornadoes or Stingers, whoever doesn't win the American Central, the other team's going to be a wild card team.
I do agree.
There's just too much talent on both sides, and they have the results right now that these other clubs don't. And Chicago, a bad misfire there. I think Nice lost that one in the LED lights.
It hit the light.
Did he hit the light?
It bounced off unexpectedly, but all the same, get behind that. If you're going to swing, take a rip. Don't standing, that ball was outside of his body. There's a lot of things, and if it hits like that, just free ball it over. A little bit better decision making there needs to get made.
Yes, one's coming our way. Run down by Noah Ricchetti does a nice job allowing Will Ragland to swing. Peltier can't get there. Point Chicago.
Will Ragland, the trash collector right there, seeing a ball up in the air, knows that if Untouchables is going to get back in this, they're going to need an aggressive swing there. They cannot afford to drop 6 points down.
Credit to Noah Ricchetti for getting there, the former Sacred Heart product out of Barrington, Illinois. Great effort by him. He'll now serve. They go outside. Eddie Mashikian sticks it through the block. So Derek Sullivan serving for Southern Exposure. Robinson again, a textbook pass. Oh, reach out and stuff someone. Jan Sullivan and Uchenna Ofoha shut the window.
That was such a straight down block. It almost landed on the side of Southern Exposure because it went back under the net. Sullivan was very over and ready to take away a lot of court.
The tip will fall in. A heads-up play by Austin Neese.
Feels like Exposure finding a little bit of that more lighthearted and aggressive style of play that we're used to seeing.
This is what carried them through most of last year.
Yeah.
And with a majority of the same pieces on the floor that were part of last season's postseason run, no reason not to have that come back if they're going to be successful, as that one will sail over into Palm Springs. 22-16 for Southern Exposure. Here's Eddie Mashikian. I was teasing him in the pregame today. He's sitting on the bench wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. He's not even a baseball fan, but he was playing in a beach tournament. As that comes over, and Uchenna Ofoha puts a dent on the court.
He has been an absolute force and contributor in the offensive presence here of Southern Exposure. That is a heck of a swing.
So Eddie bought the black, he was playing in a beach tournament, needed a black hat. And he went to the store. It was the only one he could find that was black. And he didn't know what the piece stood for. He finally found out eventually that it was a Pittsburgh Pirates hat, but he had no clue. He just liked the hat. It fit what he needed for the tournament he was playing in. He's from Atlanta. I mean, he's not a baseball fan. He's a volleyball beach guy.
That's pretty funny. Well, if you want a great place to pick up some awesome hats, be sure to check out NVAUSA.shop, where we've got hats and other gear for every team in the NVA. What a great way to support your guys out here, not just tuning into the match, but sporting them out at the next event.
Can I get a Texas Tyrants orange and multicolored hat?
You're a homer for them to the point I'm surprised they haven't sent you one already.
Well, Southern Exposure gave me some gear. I am walking around Jersey wearing a Southern Exposure baby. Is that a pink one? I can't remember anymore. No, it's both. It's full cotton candy.
Yeah.
Walking around on the boardwalk in Spring Lake, New Jersey. Nobody knows who Southern Exposure is there, but they will soon enough.
They will soon enough indeed.
24-17, 7 set points, and Eddie Mashikian ends it with the power tip, campfire style. Lights out here in Game 3 as Southern Exposure has a 2-1 lead. They are looking to end a 4-match losing streak, and they'll see if they can do that. Game 4 coming up here in San Bernardino. Back here courtside, there will be some changes for Chicago for Game 4. Noah Chass has the news for us.
Well, Ira, it seems like the Untouchables are unraveling in sorts, and Danny Pereshkovov not in the starting lineup for this fourth set. And Coach Andrew Lee told him, "You're not producing." And Danny responded, "I can't produce if I don't get set." So clearly some miscommunication over there on the Untouchables side. And even Andrew Lee looked at Will Ragland and told him, "I need someone," as in he needs someone to step up, looking at him. So clearly trying to shake things up and get some different looks in there. But things are getting uncomfortable and not in that leisure, laid-back kind of atmosphere that they were just a few sets ago.
Well, that's a good report there, Noah. And when you look at the numbers, it kind of backs up Andrew Lee's point. Through 2 sets, Pereshkovov had 9 kills in 21 swings with 3 errors. His line for game number 4, 1 kill, 1 error, 8 swings.
Yeah, that's a tough one. As a right side, I'd probably like to see him get more swings, but he's still got to do more with what he's getting. So that's an interesting conversation. I see both sides, but, you know, time will tell.
Well, taking his spot out there is Juan Cotes. Chicago gets on the board first here, and it's Zachar Pasha who is trying to get his team amped up.
So what they've actually done is gone back to what they did yesterday. So Juan is slotting in at the outside, and
Nice will go to the right side. And I think that's a good move, Nick.
Yeah. Mushikian caught a ball off the eye there. That is going to be, I don't know if this is a technical, like a injury timeout that he gets a little bit of time, but that swing either knocked a contact loose or something like that.
Yeah,
that ball
some
coming
eye
over.
drops in right now. Might be a contact.
Caught him pretty good, so.
He's tough.
He's the kind of guy that he says, if I got 2 eyes, as long as I can open one, I'm good to go. So just give him a second here to
he's
reset.
the kind of guy that if I had a little dog in the fight, I'd want to have him in my corner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of passion and energy there. He doesn't take. There's no reason he wouldn't want to continue. So getting reset
Don't feel that
here.
later though. There's no way you don't feel that later. I got smashed yesterday in pregame. Everybody yelled heads up, a ball's coming. I look at where the heck is it? Boom, right in the side of the schnoz. Over on 2, Sullivan tried to catch Chicago napping and sent right back. Chance here, Gomez sets Sullivan. That comes over on 1 and the dump by Derek.
The coach effect coming into full view right there. Sullivan sees the open court and a lot of experience, says wipe left, easy point, and take it to the bank.
And I don't think we can understate how important it is if you're playing at this level to also coach, because you see the game a little differently if you're just a sheer player.
Yeah, it's always an interesting thing we talked about, you know, which guys coach well. Sometimes maybe your bench players, guys that see the game differently, and also sometimes these all-star guys, maybe they shouldn't be coaches, but it's a great point. You see coaches in every one of these rosters coaching youth, D1 programs. These guys all understand the game at an impressive level.
Well, we talked about how Chad Mercado will miss the next event. He was going to miss it now anyway due to this injury that he's suffered, unfortunately. However, he was going to miss it anyway because he'll be in Orlando coaching his AAU team in the national championship. And obviously that is his primary responsibility outside of playing for Southern Exposure. So these guys really do impact the next generation of volleyball players in this country. That one is run down by Pelletier. Oh, what an effort. And then sent over by Southern Exposure. Can the Untouchables challenge? They cannot, because Uchenna Foha waves goodbye at that attack.
I think that play right there fully embodies what Pelletier has brought to the court. It's those hustle plays. We saw him track one down around the ref stand. He's chased multiple out of the back of the court. He's showcasing the grit that this team was all about last season and embodying it here wholeheartedly.
Remember, Pelletier last played collegiately, as that is stuck.
By Pelletier.
Pelletier also is big buddy. Uchenna Foha helped it out as well. But Pelletier finished his collegiate career a decade ago, 2012 up at Springfield. So obviously he's in his early 30s at this point and still showing this incredible vigor out there. As Eddie Mashikin will serve. It's 3-3 game 4. Southern Exposure with a 2-1 lead. First match of the day. And Ofoha is getting hands in everything right now. But not that one, as Pelletier was there for it. They'll send it to Eddie. And can Robinson get enough to keep it alive? He cannot. Will Ragland is in the restroom. We'll see if he ever comes back.
Good hustle there and a nice touch from J-Rob, number 16, but just not enough.
Ragland coming out of the restroom, kicked the ball out of frustration, nearly decapitated our line judge, and he immediately apologized as emotions got the better of him. I'm so sorry.
Soccer not his sport. Stick to volleyball.
Yeah.
In his
he's definitely not going to be playing for the Chicago Fire anytime soon. Untouchables have him safely under contract. Here's Sullivan with the roll. Robinson with the 360 dance move. Nice with the power tip. Pelletier collects it off the net. And then Uchenna Ofoha with the bomb.
Ofoha is just unrelenting. Ofoha right now picking up, that's his 11th kill on 15 attempts. He's got a handful of aces and blocks to toss in there
Gomez
as well.
does a nice job there. Pelletier with the roll, and that draws Nice into the net. So a kill on the roll from Pelletier will give Southern Exposure a 6-3 lead. And Mashikian, the unbeknownst Pittsburgh Pirate fake fan, will serve. He admitted to me he's just not a baseball nut like I am. We go to Ragland, the power tip. Derek was there. Gomez with the hands and dumped by Peltier, who nearly had a joust option. Ragland, again, he's in front of the 10-foot line by a lot.
They're looking for Ragland to be the option, but the connection there between Ricchetti and Ragland's just not on board. They were swinging well on that pipe connection for the first 2 sets. It has since feels like it has cooled off, whether he's hitting into the block of Ofoha, misconnection, having to tip, or in that case, a back row attack violation. Things just not working for Chicago Untouchables right now, down by 4 early on.
Sheekin to serve again. Laying out is Gomez. Here's Peltier swinging cross court in a useful spot.
Well, Gomez did not waste any time showing his desire to improve on the effort he made yesterday. We're seeing defensive stops non-stop for Gomez, alternatively passing at a 63% clip on 19 receptions. Pretty solid numbers, doing a nice job of making some adjustments from yesterday's performance.
So the Untouchables will utilize their first time out here in Game 4. As Southern Exposure has built an 8-3 lead. Still very early, chance for Chicago to bounce back. But Nick, from what you've seen so far, if there's one thing Chicago needs to adjust, what is it right now?
They need a way to find. They need to find a way to stop Uchenna Ofoha and score points in transition. Right now, it feels like every time they start getting a rally going, they just don't have a way to finish it. A lot of tips, a lot of attempted wipes through the block. They just can't get the points on the scoreboard.
More England insights for you as we come out of the timeout. And Eddie Mashikian will continue to serve. Told me he lives just a couple blocks away from where the Atlanta Braves play in Atlanta, SunTrust Park. Austin Neese getting a chance to swing one-on-one. He delivers.
The line is open once again, something that was being successful early on for Chicago. Jake Ostema now returns to the court, and I'd like to see a way for him to get involved here, see if Richetti's able to connect.
And Sullivan's swinging away, and that's going to fall in. So right back Southern Exposure's way, 9-4, your score. And Uchenna Ofoha will serve. Chicago won the first set 25-21, but since then Southern Exposure has found the answers that have been eluding them for much of the last few events, winning 25-22 and 25-21. Southern Exposure, of course, yesterday fell to the Dallas Tornadoes in 5 sets, 15-13. It could have gone either way. And Southern Exposure played well, but they did not have an answer, because really nobody does, for Felix Chapman. He had an NVA all-time record 36 kills yesterday. Southern Exposure also has a 5-set loss to the Las Vegas Ramblers back on April 8th. So they picked up some points along the way, even in the losses. That was also a 15-13 5th set defeat. Pancake by Neese. IHOP is open. And that one won't fall in because Gomez is up for the task. It's sent over. The rally continues. They go outside, and that one will carry him off the side wall and not come back. Johnny Gomez is not happy with the construction of the building as he ran out of room. He would have chased that into the parking lot if the door was there.
Yeah, he had some fun words for the wall there, blaming the wall entirely. And to be honest, based on his quick movement there, he would have dug that ball if it was not there.
Oh my God, he had another 10 feet to work with. He absolutely gets there. Sullivan is able to, no, that one is off the court. Will Ragland gets a little bit of a haircut.
Yeah.
but doesn't get touched. Well, Ragland's showing off his fancy dance moves there.
We'll have to find the original contractor of this building for Johnny Gomez and have a word.
Let him take him up with him.
Ragland swinging down the line with authority.
Wow.
Big side out.
Did you notice there, Nice, right back defender, steps in to take first ball. Ragland routes behind him to fill in and provide a D-ball option for the offense. Ricchetti hears that audible in mid-play there and sets the D-ball for Ragland. Love to see that.
Over on one will stay in play. It will not, as a kill for Pelletier.
10-8. Exposure doing a nice job controlling this, but Untouchables certainly not out of it. They've been able to close that 4-point gap down to just 2.
By the way, we were talking about the earlier results this year for Southern Exposure. They lost in 3 to the LA Blaze, but 2 of those 3 sets went into overtime, 26-24, 29-27. Another match that could have gone either way. Really, the only match this year in Southern Exposure was not truly in, surprisingly, was the Colorado Kraken match.
Yeah.
As they fell in 3 and lost 25-19 in the third set. Oh, that is put down with the double stuff by Lurich and Derek Sullivan.
A well-formed block going to their right there. Lurich steady-handed as always.
And it's 11-8 Southern Exposure for Jan. Good pass by Robinson. They go back to Will Ragland, and he eludes the triple block.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how many times we've seen the triple block getting up on the back row attack. They know Ragland loves to swing there, so there's obviously been a discussion from the middle blocking scouting report here to get everyone ready for that. So props to Ragland for scoring on that all the same.
And the service here by Kotaz. Robinson runs that one down the joust. Caught Stemma in the face, but he was able to play on. And then that is put down. Rejection City, where the blocks are sweet and the points are gritty. Big time for Chicago.
That was a good one. Well, I'll give props. That one was good.
You like my Guns N' Roses
Yep.
homage there? 11-10.
Oh, Stemma wasting no time using every bit of his body there to keep that one alive.
Sometimes it takes a shot in the face to get your head in the game.
I could use a couple shots in the face, or just in general. And a return fire, Jacob Astema, welcome to his party.
The
And
TCC
time out Southern
alum.
Exposure. What was a healthy lead for Southern Exposure has now tilted towards the Untouchables 11-all. We'll take a quick break. Allow us to come up with some more song lyrics. We'll be back for more. And we're back here courtside. The Untouchables unquitting as they need to win this set or they're going to fall to 1-5 on the season. And I don't know if you come back from that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but they are showing that they are not done yet. Their story does not end here. Their youngest member on the court, Jacob Ostema, answers the call. One of the most difficult things that you see in pro sports here in the U.S. is when you see all-stars in college try to make the transition to the next level. They might have been All-American or the best player, but when they really step up and get into a league with the big dogs, how do they make that move? Jacob Ostema.
That's a nice change of direction there. Tim Lurich with the changeup to finally catch Ostema off balance.
Yeah, but I think Ostema's making a solid name for himself this season, and even if Chicago falls short, definitely a name that I expect to see more of in the future.
Ostema's 6'7", probably 6'9" with his hair. They'll put this up for Nice. Pelletier's there, run down by Sullivan, and then Sullivan will swing. over on 2. Oh, brought back by Jen. Everybody's going for it, collecting it off the net. Here's a Stemma, and Pelletier is there. And that will ultimately fall in a useful spot, and Southern Exposure with the gritty point.
The defense there from everyone reading those quick tips, the ball movement, a lot of hitters looking for court, not necessarily with power swings, but sly adjustments and things like that. But both sides just making heroic defensive efforts. Sullivan chasing that ball down all the way into the stands.
That was the biggest part of the entire rally, perhaps our best rally of the match so far, Nick. They go back to Will Ragland, off the shoulder. Gomez poked over here by Lurich. Another chance for Chicago. And laying out cannot get their kill for Juan Cotes. And Chicago still hanging around now within 1 again at 13-12. They trail.
Cotes doing a nice job off the bench, coming in and finding some key offensive as well as defensive contributions. Always love to see when someone wastes no time and doesn't use being cold as an excuse.
And now Stemma to serve. Trying to tie it up. Eddie Mashikian gets shut down by the other Noah in the building.
No approach on that block. It was a stand, load, and dive into the angle. Clinical execution there by Ricchetti, seeing exactly the approach line that Mushikian wants and shuts him down.
An excellent last-second move inward based on the approach of that hitter.
Yeah.
Noah approves of the block by Noah. And that one cannot be preserved. Mashikian with another winner.
We gotta look out for each other, us Noahs.
Yeah. Zachar Pasha going out to the right there. Gets a good block touch, but high hand swing. Mushikian's experience coming through in leaps and bounds there.
Tim Lurich serve, 14-13 Southern Exposure. Another good pass by J-Rob. Ragland swinging away. Pelletier reads it well. Here's Mashikian off the high hands of the triple block for the kill.
Catches Richetti's pinky on that one. An easy call, but a nice triple block there. And once again, we're seeing the block touch for Southern Exposure, slowing down Ragland and the rest of the boys just enough to give them another chance to score, capitalizing well.
Pinkies are such a useless digit. Nice bombs away.
Huge rip down the line. I love that set there from Ricchetti. Great option. And we're seeing that the potential substitution of swapping Nice to the right side paying off. There's a lot of story left to tell here, but Chicago showing that they're willing to make personnel changes to give themselves a chance.
Ricchetti leaves it short, and he can't believe it too. Golden opportunity, and that makes it 16-14 Southern Exposure. And Derek Sullivan will now serve to try to build upon it. There's a yellow card that has been pulled on Southern Exposure. Didn't catch what happened. Elvin Otley, our R2, will give us some insight. What do you got to tell us, Nick?
A little confirmation, some colorful language getting used that the up ref found unbecoming, and a warning is issued for that yellow card.
It's a family show. We won't tell you what was said, but you can paint your own picture. As that will be a replay, inadvertent whistle, perhaps. They said that Southern Exposure was into the net, perhaps the whistle blown too early. And that will indeed be a replay. So Derek Sullivan, one more time, will serve 2-point lead. If Southern Exposure can build a 3-point edge here, they will not, but that would have certainly changed the dynamic here as we play in game 4. Chicago trying to force a 5th. Noah had something important to say. Talk to us, my friend.
Well, that's an accidental ref point right there for the Chicago Untouchables.
So a ref icing. And that is put down the line back to the side of the cotton candy Southern Exposure will have Eddie Mishikian serve. However, I believe there's going to be a challenge here by Chicago, whether that was in or out. They have lost their first challenge today.
So it's not Ostema, I think it's Ostema. Ostema? It's Ostema? How would you read this? Ostema?
And guys, looking back at just the replay on our stream, it looks like this might be a good challenge for the Untouchables. The line ref on that side had a turn because it was coming towards him, and it looks like it might have been just out based on what I'm seeing.
So
Appreciate the help in the YouTube from the family support there. I was able to talk to Jake as well, so we've been getting that one wrong. Jake Ostema. So I think that's going to be more correct,
it's
hopefully.
about how you place that second syllable.
Yeah.
And we had it placed incorrectly. Now, we also found out that from the Colorado Kraken, Mr. Gagner was actually either Gainer or Gagne, depends if you feel French or not that day.
Jake Ostema with the Mostema.
I like that.
It'll goes
play.
to Southern Exposure, as that ball was indeed called in, or there was not enough to overturn it.
Well, we do our very best to get everyone's name said correctly, and if you're me, try not to get their colleges completely wrong, so we always appreciate the feedback.
Misericordia. It's a lovely place in Central PA's Austin, Nice, IPFW, Purdue, Fort Wayne. They don't like to be that anymore. And that's a side out for Chicago 17-16. Off the net, and Southern Exposure cannot track it down. And we're knotted at 17. How quickly what could have been a three-point lead for Southern Exposure evaporates. And Eddie Mishikian sees a spot on the floor that he is concerned with, some housekeeping.
Liquid effort is what I call it.
Who is responsible for washing those towels? Poor soul.
I don't know, but I don't envy their job. People.
Can we get an NVA branded squeegee?
Our own, yeah.
Yeah, they got them in the NBA. We're the NVA. They sound similar. We need a squeegee. Luciano Foha has not been involved of late, but he makes his presence felt again. Side out, Southern Exposure.
Ofoha now back to see if he can add another ace here. So far got 2 aces this match. He's had 4 errors, but a great bit of serving from him all the same. Oh, well, he's gonna add 1 to the error column, not the ace column, not the impact he might hope to have. We're back to 18 apiece, a race to 7. Ira, this one is certainly delivering, and I love to see the way in which Chicago is answering back here in the 4th set.
Yeah, it's certainly been a better match than we probably could have even anticipated. Teams playing for their seasons right now. Ragland runs it down after Robinson gets the touch. Will dump it over Southern Exposure. 18-18, trying to take the lead. Ping pong, and then Nice dumps it over. Another chance for Southern Exposure. Nice is there on the dig on the Sullivan swing, and then they'll dump it again. 4th chance, and this time Lurich can't connect. Will 5 times be the charm? Reaching out, double. Touches there. This time it is Pelletier to the useful spot. Nice can't extend. Oh, what a rally. 6 chances it took. And finally, Southern Exposure able to find a vacated spot. Wow, what a play.
Pelletier saw ball after ball getting dropped short, having to play some defense first. but doing a great job there.
That's just sensational
Will
volleyball.
Ragland ran
Heads
a
up.
marathon back there.
Jan Sullivan unleashes the ace, drops it in front of the serve reception. Chicago down 2. We'll discuss. We'll take a break and come back for the conclusion. Game 4, Southern Exposure up 2-1, trying to close it out. (20-18), Southern Exposure trying to pick up a win to end this losing streak and give themselves a glimmer of hope heading into our Father's Day event. Be right back here in 3 weeks in Southern California. Me, Matt, and Nick are all dads. We'll be with you in person. Me and Matt have human children. Nick just had a brand new baby, a puppy. Ollie, he's a doggy daddy.
The very best.
And that will find its way through. Ragland and Ace couldn't pull it back. Lurich with the winner. The lead is 3.
Once again, I can't say it enough. Chicago's inability to finish swings on these long rallies, I feel like, is going to be the haunting thing that they take home if they're not able to find a little bit of energy right now. They're just so close, but they've got to find that one swing.
And Sullivan narrowly misses. They hit the blue line. You got to go for the black. So a side out for Chicago, a crucial serve coming up here for Juan Cotes, 30-year-old out of Manatee, Puerto Rico. Leaves it short, a colossal blunder there. Could not leave that one short. Allows Southern Exposure to take the side out, up 3, 22-19. And a great server in Pelletier. Ricchetti tries to dump it, blocked back. Here's Ragland. That's coming back toward Chicago's way. Ragland one more time. And he tools the block. Oh, Will Ragland coming up clutch.
Pull out the driver. He's going for the distance right there. Worth noting, he also actually made a quick left-handed swing before that to save that ball that was set too tight by Cotes. Now we see a substitution. Kai Duquem coming in once again, a serving substitution for Ostema.
Ragland now, by the way, has 11 kills. That is a match high for everybody. Not been a high kill production match individually. Duquem with the set. Ragland tips it and then sent deep by Pasha. They leave it for Eddie Mashikian, blocked back. Here's Sullivan. And the dump by Ricchetti. Lurich is there to meet him. Great rally again between these teams. Ragland, that comes back his way. Ragland runs it down, swings too long. Oh my.
So many approach attempts there. Ragland has to swing time and time again. Clearly quite gassed after that. Also aggravated, putting their back against the wall. A 5-point deficit to over, well, 3-point deficit, but 5 points they've got to overcome almost immediately to have a chance. Lurich has been an extraordinarily consistent server, looking to put the pressure on and turn the lights out here in the last bit of set number 4.
I mean, we have seen some wild comebacks. Freedom was down 2 set points against the Tyrants. They were able to come back. And, oh, Austin Neese, oh my God. He pretended to be like trying to pump everybody up and then just pulls it back and smiles.
He yelled, "I'm so big," and then started laughing.
That's what he said.
little bit of a misconnection on a windmill there, but able to catch Exposure napping just a bit.
Well, Noah Ricchetti, biggest serve of the match here for Chicago, because if they score, they can cut this to 1 and make this significantly more interesting. And that's blocked back, covered by Peltier. Mashikian finds the back corner, and it will give Southern Exposure a 24-21 3-match point cushion to work with as Derek Sullivan, 6'6" Beaumont Abbey product out of Richmond, Virginia, the chance to end it. Outside to Nice, coming our way, and Nick England with the catch. So 1 match point shaved off. Will Ragland looking for another, 24-22.
Well, if there's someone that can generate some service pressure, it's certainly Ragland, but he wants to go with the safe float and let the guys get an opportunity.
Jan Sullivan puts it in the court, and the long national nightmare for Southern Exposure is over. They are back in the win column, and their playoff hopes are not extinguished yet, as Southern Exposure able to overcome the Chicago Untouchables today in 4 sets. Your scores today, as the Southern Exposure wins 21-25, 25-22, 25-17, and 25-22. And with that, Southern Exposure splits the weekend. They are 2-4 on the year. Still an opportunity for them to be a factor down the stretch, as they are now 1 game in front of the Matadors in the American Coastal, and depending on the outcome of this weekend's results, may pull even with the Colorado Kraken for that last potential playoff spot in the American Conference. The Untouchables fall 1-5, and things get very hard for them now.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, but I feel like they really showed a lot of stuff. They were battling well. A lot of different pieces contributing. You know, we were talking about the difference there going into set 4. Danny Perishkovov, what his expectations were versus what Coach Andrew Lee was seeing from his output. But regardless of your opinion on that, because both were very valid when you look at the numbers, Austin Neese stepping in, we see great contribution from him. But the biggest thing I saw in this difference was between set 1 to set 2, Uchenna Ofoha got involved immediately in set 2. 5 kills in 1 set right there. From there, that was the gas that lit the fire.
He is on, Nick. He has that ability that there are some middles in this league that have just a presence on the court that can take over for a team. He is certainly one of them. He's going to be our man of the match. No Chas will speak to him in a moment. There was no question that he impacted this match more than anybody else out there. The numbers will stand up for that as well. Noah Chas on the sideline. Uchenna Ofoha, our well-deserved man of the match, as Southern Exposure back in the win column.
Thanks, Ira. Uchenna Ofoha, man of the match, and you're a little iced out right now. What's the chain for?
It's a team decision, to be honest. I'm gonna just leave it at that. It's a team decision.
Team decision. How do you earn that?
Being the man of the match, pretty much. If you're the man of the match, then you get the icy, you know, the icy, the drip. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you had 12 kills and you had 5 in that second set. How were you able to take over in the middle?
It really came down to my teammates trusting me. You know, I've been in these situations a ton of time overseas, played pro for 5 years. So it was one of those things where I had to step up, and thankfully I did, and they trusted me. So that was the biggest thing.
You guys have been on a bit of a... Again, such a great answer. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling it was a good answer. Team on a bit of a skid, finally back in the win column. How's it feel?
No, it feels great. Our coach was saying this is we got to play this with the level of urgency, and I think we came out and we did that. So I'm really proud of the boys. You know, shouts out to the boys, because without them, I can't be the man of the match. So shout out to them for sure. And we got it done. I'm just happy. Yeah.
Congratulations. I love the bling bling.
Yeah.
Uchenna Ofoha, our man of the match. Nick and Ira, take us home.
Jenna's got the icy, is that what we're calling it now?
I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, I'm going to find entertaining, and I'm sure our fans at home
I want
will
an
too.
icy.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, I mean, for Southern Exposure, they had to win. We talked about it yesterday that this was a must-win weekend. For them, they would have preferred to have been 2-0. They couldn't find an answer for the Chapman riddle yesterday, but today, an untouchable team. They got in the win column finally, but they couldn't carry it over and make it a 2-0 weekend. So Chicago, I think it's going to get very difficult going forward. We look at the numbers in this one, and Will Ragland, I mean, he did his part out there. He had 16 kills, that's one shy of a season high. That was a match high, but he was really the only consistent option. Austin Neese had 9 kills, but he only hit at a 32% rate in this match. Meanwhile, for Southern Exposure, 3 players in double figures, 13 for Jan Sullivan. That was a team high, and did a nice job coming in and especially contributing late. Not a good start, but he finished strong, which is how you want to see it, as he was replacing Chad Mercado, who's out with the injury. And then, of course, Uchenna Ofoha, 12 kills, 6 block points at 63%, 11 kills from Eddie Mashikian, who certainly, played some high IQ volleyball to help Southern Exposure to this win. An important W. You have to be satisfied if you're a Southern Exposure fan with this outcome.
Yeah, I feel like we've returned to exposure of old, where you've got kill distribution across the board, contributions, and a solid block and defense scheme. This just felt like, oh yeah, we're back in 2021, where this is a team that was the #1 rated team in the National Conference. It just feels like we're a little bit at home right now from what we've expected to see from this team all season long.
Well, they are 2-4. The Untouchables fall to 1-5, and that will conclude our first match of the day. Looking at the rest of the schedule today, 12 p.m., Matt and Nick will be on the call. The Seattle Sasquatch still looking for their first win of the year. How does Felix Chapman counter a 36-kill effort yesterday? I don't know how you have a answer for that. I mean, for him, if he has 18 kills, say, it feels like a letdown. And that would be a great match for almost any human being. That'll be our 12 p.m. match. 3 p.m. it is the Colorado Kraken against the Las Vegas Ramblers, and then the 405 Express battle to end the day, 6 p.m. Pacific time, when the LA Blaze take on the OC Stunners. That will do it here. Our final score after the first set for Chicago, winning 25-21. It was all untouchable, or all Southern Exposure from there, as they prevailed 22-17 and 22. They are back in the win column. For our entire crew, our sideline reporter Noah Chast and Nick England, I'm Ira Thor, and 12 p.m. That's coming up next. We hope you will come back. More Memorial Day volleyball here in San Bernardino.